Alright, good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kim back here once again. I'm here to give you guys an update on what's going on across the natural state at this current point here. So, I'm going to talk to you guys about what's going on today. I'm going to talk to you guys about the big severe threat as we get towards your day on Thursday here, guys. So, if you could do me a favor, please spread this live stream with your family and friends. That way they can stay updated. We'll keep you guys informed on the latest, and then I'm going to try to get to you guys' questions here in just a little bit here. But we do have a lot that we need to go over in terms of the severe weather threat as we get towards your day on Thursday here. But first off, let's talk about what's going on across the board today here, guys. We've got temperatures, basically a contrast of what's left of winter, and then your basically your spring over here. So temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s down there in southeastern Arkansas, and then we have temperatures in the low 50s across northwestern Arkansas at this point. So there's your frontal boundary kind of sitting out at this point. There's your airflow pressure here. So we got a few storms that are ongoing right now across southeastern Arkansas. We're not expecting a whole lot of severe weather for today, but there could be some isolated cells getting going across southern and southeastern Arkansas at this point, mainly an isolated hail and wind threat with those storms as they get going this afternoon and this evening here. Not a major way of severe weather here. Now, let's go ahead and talk to you guys about your Thursday time frame here, okay? But before we get to Thursday, I'm going to zoom this out and I'm going to show you guys Wednesday real quickly. So bear with me for just a bit. Now, Wednesday's threat has shifted a good amount of ways to the east, okay? So this is going to be coming on here just shortly. But that risk has shifted a lot eastward than it was, well, not eastward, westward than it was before. So there's your risk on Wednesday here. There's a marginal risk over here in western Arkansas and the northwestern Arkansas. And then you can see back out towards the west, your slight risk and even an enhanced risk now from Oklahoma City down to the Red River here. Now, this may be good for Wednesday in terms of severe weather threat for us here in Arkansas, but it's a double-edged sword because of the fact that if your risk is greater to the west on Wednesday, what does that mean for us here on Thursday? And that means this, and I'm going to show you guys this graphically real quick. We have an enhanced risk for the potential of seeing severe weather as we get towards your day on Thursday, okay? So, slight risk up there in northwestern Arkansas, enhanced risk for the entire state basically at this point. Timing right now looks to be right around that noon time frame Thursday to 8 o'clock Thursday night. This will shift depending on what happens with the computer model guidance here. There's a lot of uncertainty right now on what's going on with the system coming in. There's some uncertainty if the frontal boundary is going to actually make it. It's stuff like that. So just kind of keep that in mind at this point. But timing right now, at least a rough estimate, is right around 12 to 8 o'clock Thursday afternoon and the Thursday evening. So be sure to stay with us for updates, guys. We'll keep you guys informed on that. Severe weather, potentially significant severe weather, could be on the table as we get towards Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Really worried about the damaging wind potential out of this. With the frontal boundary coming in during the afternoon hours. I'm really worried about damaging wind potential, but there could be a couple of tornadoes as well, and a large hail threat. And I want to kind of talk to you guys about those hazards because I know everybody, whenever they see an enhanced risk, the first thing they go to is tornadoes. Like, that's the number one thing everyone goes to is tornadoes. I want to stress to you guys, there's more to severe weather than just tornadoes. There's more to severe weather than just tornadoes. You can get damaging winds. You can get large hail. Damaging winds is just as important as the tornado threat. Okay, I want to make that as crystal clear as possible, guys. That damaging wind threat can be just as important as dealing with a tornado. So keep that in mind. Even though the tornado risk is not number one, doesn't mean you need to let your guard down. That means it's not going to happen. So just keep that in mind for across the board here. Enhanced risk for much of the natural state, northwestern Arkansas is in a slight risk at this point. Okay, so I'm going to go over computer model guidance here. This is going to be kind of a somewhat short live stream because of the fact that it's day 3. And that we don't have a lot of the tornado parameters and the large hail and everything. You don't get that until tonight. So this is going to be kind of short, but this is going to be one of the ones I'm going to try to get to in terms of answering questions and everything like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk to you guys about this. Now, there's one thing that I like to use whenever we're forecasting severe weather, and I call this the CWAS model. Okay, and basically I'm going to kind of break this down so you guys kind of understand what you're looking at here. All right. At the bottom of this graphic, you can see it says 75% of significant tornadoes EF2 or EF5 have occurred with the percentage being 65% or higher. So that means anything greater than 65%, you have a greater shot of seeing severe weather. It doesn't guarantee it. It doesn't 100% guarantee that you have severe weather, but it basically says, hey, you're above 65, you might want to kind of keep an eye on here. Okay, so as you can see for today, not much going on. We're in the 50s, 60% area. That means there's not much going on in terms of severe weather. Okay, everything's up here in the Ohio Valley where you've got severe thunderstorm warnings, etc. But let's take a look at Wednesday here. Okay, so this is Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday, as you can see out here towards the west, where you have the enhanced risk now. Over here, your 65s, your 70s, 75, even 80 over here in Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, that's where your majority of your severe weather is going to be on tomorrow. That's where the majority of everything's going to be. Now, you have to watch western Arkansas tomorrow night in the first part of your Thursday morning, but it's still very uncertain right now. I mean, computer model guidance is all over the place here. But you can see right there, this is Wednesday, by the way. I'm going to get to Thursday in a sec. But right there along the Red River on Wednesday, that's where your majority of your severe threat is going to be. And then you can see by the time we get towards first thing Thursday morning, it's having a hard time making its way towards Arkansas because it's running into a ridge. And then you can see by the time we get towards Thursday, you can see 65 is way up here in northern Arkansas. You're in 80 down there in southwestern Arkansas. So what does that mean? That means you have a threat for a pretty decent shot of severe weather as we get towards Thursday. This doesn't necessarily guarantee the tornado threat. This goes for damaging wind and hail as well. But this basically shows you what you need to know. That's basically the majority of the state as we get towards Thursday here. And then you can see just basically right over the state as we get towards Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. So timing right now kind of stands with that noon to 8 o'clock time frame as you get towards Thursday afternoon and the Thursday evening here. And then by the time we get towards Thursday night, it should be completely out of the state. Some computer model guidance is kind of holding this on until Friday morning. I don't buy that right now because the system's going to be progressive, but we'll have to watch and wait and see, because eastern Arkansas, if this thing slows down, you may see a threat on Friday over there as well. But we'll kind of keep an eye on here. Right now, I think computer model guidance may be a little bit too slow with trying to get this thing out of here as we get towards Thursday evening and into Thursday night here. And of course, we will have a live tomorrow to go over Thursday as well. Okay, so it's not going to be anything like today and that's it. We're going to have more live streams, more updates on the page here. Okay, so this is what we have at this point. We'll go over to Euro and we'll go over to NAM. And while y'all are here, I'm going to answer some questions as well. Because I want to talk to you guys about that as well, because yesterday we had a lot of people asking us questions and stuff, and even a couple were getting frustrated at us. Whenever there's severe weather, particularly the one that's coming up on Thursday, big delays, big events mean big delays, okay? So that means that whenever we're trying to get coverage out and everything, we're not going to be able to answer your question right off the bat. Alright, so just kind of keep that in mind as we get towards Thursday. If y'all have any questions, the best time to ask is for the next 2 days. Thursday we can get to you, but when a big severe weather threat is happening, everybody's in different motion. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind as we get towards Thursday here. Okay, so you can see by the time we get towards your Thursday morning here. Now this is going to be very important if you go with the Euro and you're looking at your dew point temperatures. Alright, so your system's back out here towards the west. There's your warm front right in here, so that separates the stable air from the unstable air. Okay, 50 dew points versus dew points in the upper 60s, low 70s across the board. Okay, so your warm front is draped right there across the natural states to get towards first thing Thursday morning. All right, and then you can see what happens by the time you get towards the day on Thursday. Now, I want to stress some caution with Thursday, particularly for our folks up here in northern Arkansas. That warm front placement is going to be a key what happens with Thursday's severe weather threat. This could easily be a all-state event or a central and south Arkansas severe event, given what happens with this warm front. All guidance shift this warm front northward. Okay, so basically that means that we're basically ready to go for severe weather as you get towards your Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening. All right, but that warm front placement is going to be very key on what happens here. And another thing I'm concerned about that you're seeing with the Euro. This is 3 p.m. by the way. Alright, so 21Z is 3 p.m. Your low's here. Okay, your boundary is just not crossing Oklahoma City. Alright, that's from Oklahoma to Little Rock, it's about a 5-hour drive. So you're about 5 hours away from coming into the natural state at this point. So basically your setup is just like this. You've got moisture coming in from the Gulf, drier air coming in from the west, everything's setting up for severe weather as we get towards the day on Thursday here. And that's going to be for all modes of severe weather, by the way. It's not going to be just tornadoes or hail. It's going to be that damaging wind potential. All modes will be possible as you get towards the day on Thursday here. But you can see dew points in the upper 60s, low 70s. Let's take a look at your instability real quickly. And I said before, that warm front placement is going to be kind of questionable what happens on Thursday here. But you can see instability wise, right around that 800 to 1,000 range, and you might think that's not a lot and everything like that. There's a lot of wind shear that you're going to be dealing with as you get towards your Thursday time frame here. Okay, so all modes of severe weather will be possible as you get towards Thursday. It's damaging wind, that's hail, and the potential of tornadoes here. So all this wind shear coupled with the instability will result in the potential of seeing severe weather as you get towards Thursday. Okay, enhanced risk is there for a reason. It's a day 3 enhanced for a reason. I've had a lot of people ask me, will this go moderate? If you want my honest opinion, if it goes moderate, I think it's going to be going moderate for wind, just to be completely honest with you. And right now, there's your low right here, warm front. Your cold front's kind of draped basically just like this, and you got all that wind shear coming in. By the way, this is 6 p.m. on Thursday, and your frontal boundary is just now making it to western Arkansas. That means we are in a warm center all day long on Thursday. That means we're ready to go. Everything's in place for seeing the potential of seeing severe weather across the board here. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind for your Thursday time frame here. Okay, so Christy, I see your question. Is Thursday the only thing we're looking for severe weather? Last I saw, we're looking Monday through Thursday. It's not the case. So what happened is for today, the severe threat is very low. Okay, so your frontal boundary made it. The storms last night kind of left what's called subsidence or sinking air, and it's killing your storms for today. So today's threat's done. Wednesday's threat is further to the west than expected. That means everything's further to the west out there in Oklahoma and in Texas and the Red River. So basically right now we have about a 2-day break, which I don't think anybody would be complaining about. We have a 2-day break right now. We have today and we have tomorrow. Thursday's the bigger day, Friday, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens this weekend. But this weekend right now looks to be pretty quiet. But that's basically what happened, because we were looking a couple of days ago and we were thinking that this was going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's what happened, is everything's starting to shift westward for tomorrow, actually tomorrow and then Thursday here. So 2-day break, that's today and tomorrow, and then we get back into severe weather mode as we get towards Thursday here. But you can see what happens with the systems up here, your shear moving through, and except for your front boundary is just now moving through late on Thursday, and whenever you're dealing with severe weather here in Arkansas, you want this thing in and out. You don't want the front boundary to kind of hang around or anything like that. You want it in and out real quick because of the fact that it can prolong your severe weather threat. And as I said before, over there in eastern Arkansas, you guys get lucky. I mean, if you go with the Euro, it shifts the front to the east relatively quickly as we get towards Friday. So we don't have too much going on. But we'll have to watch it, because what happens is your frontal boundary kind of stalls out late Thursday night or early Friday morning, and then it finally gets a push eastward. But when does it make that push? Because if it delays itself, you may have a risk on Friday over there in eastern Arkansas. So just kind of keep that in mind as we get towards Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, and into Friday too. Friday is a quiet period right now, but at the moment we'll have to wait and see here. But okay, so you can see. Let's take this back. Okay, so there's first thing Thursday morning. There's a line of storms over here in eastern Arkansas. That moves through. Okay, then you have redevelopment as we get towards Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening across western Arkansas. That moves through Thursday night and early Friday morning. So you get a multiple round. You get one in the morning, one in the afternoon. You may have one in the overnight hours, and then Friday morning it's off towards the east. So that's good news right now, but you have to watch it, because if this thing slows down even more, you're going to introduce Friday into the mix here. Friday, we want this thing east, because I don't know about you guys, but severe weather is pretty tiring at this point. Okay, so let's take a look at the NAM for just a bit. NAM was relatively more the same here, but you can see the front boundary today moves to the south. It kind of stalls out in southern Arkansas. So going to be really cool first thing tomorrow morning up there in northern Arkansas. Southern Arkansas, you're going to be relatively muggy. It's going to feel really muggy down there in southern Arkansas. And then that boundary lifts to the north on Wednesday here. And then you can see, if you go with the NAM, it stalls the front boundary out, the warm front placement up here in northern Arkansas. So your lows here, okay, your boundary set up just like this, and then your warm front kind of comes down just like this. And I've seen this happen before, where it's going against the mountains, having a hard time kind of lifting northward. But this would place the Arklatex, Southern Arkansas, Central Arkansas, and Eastern Arkansas at play for seeing severe weather as we get towards the day on Thursday here. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind if you were to go with the NAM model here. Your trough is negative, so you don't have to worry about the wind shear or anything like that. Pretty good amount of moisture coming in as well. So NAM model kind of stalling out the warm front in northern Arkansas, which I don't currently buy right now. I'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But you can see it tries to fight it coming northward, but it just can't do it. It keeps everything from, I would say, Mena to Texarkana to the Mayflower to the Little Rock area to El Dorado over towards Memphis and now towards Lake Village if you go with the NAM model here. So you have to wait and see what happens. All the guidance, as you can clearly see, it's kind of all over the place right now here. But there's the instability here, and man, look at there. There's a good amount of instability in place if you were to go south that warm front. So 2,000 upwards to 3,000 instability down here in northeastern Texas. That moves in as we get towards Thursday afternoon. So anywhere along and south that warm front is game on for severe weather as we get towards the day on Thursday. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some uncertainty with computer model guidance, but main threat, damaging winds, hail, and that tornado threat is there. That tornado threat is there at this point, but I want to stress that tornado threat is going to lean on if we get a line of storms or they stay discrete, which basically means they stay ahead of the line. You want it to kind of stay ahead of the line if that tornado threat were to come to realization here. But right now, damaging winds seems to be the biggest thing, but the tornado threat is still kind of sitting at number 2 right now here. Okay, so good point. I want to stress this as well, and while I have everybody here, please get familiarized with your counties and your cities. We had a lot of people yesterday during the severe weather threat that did not know where their counties are. Okay, please, 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 please know what your counties and your cities are, folks. Okay, it's not meant to bash anybody or anything like that. It's to keep you guys informed, because there could be a tornado warning in western Arkansas. You don't know where your county is, then you may think that you're under that warning. Okay, so please keep that in mind, especially as we get towards Thursday. Know where you live, folks. Okay, we'll have a map probably probably after this live stream. I'll talk about it on the post, but it's not meant to bash anybody. It's for safety reasons, guys. You got to know where you live whenever you're dealing with severe weather. Not only severe weather, but winter weather, tropical weather, etc. You got to know where you live here in the natural state, because so many things could happen. And if you're in one area or another, that could kind of, like, let's take for example, up here in northern Arkansas, you go with NAM. You're north of that warm front, you don't have a severe threat on Thursday. But if you're in South Arkansas, you're in Pulaski County, you're south of the warm front, you're in a severe threat. So you got to know where you live, you got to know your counties, folks. All right, it's not meant to bash anything, but it's very important that you guys know where you live. Okay, so Melissa, what about Jonesboro on Thursday? So everybody's in the same boat. We're going to go back to that graphic real quickly. Okay, so everybody's in the same boat for Thursday, regardless of where you are. Okay, at this point, you have a marginal risk in Oklahoma. Your starting point's in Oklahoma, so that means everybody needs to be on guard on Thursday. You have a slight risk in northwestern Arkansas, the enhanced risk for much of the natural state at this point. Everybody needs to be on guard for severe weather as we get towards day on Thursday. Okay, so please keep that in mind. As I said before, don't just focus on the higher threats, because we've seen time and time again, even with the lower threats, you can still see severe weather. Like northwest Arkansas, for example, you're in a slight risk. You may see severe weather as well. Okay, so don't focus on the higher threats. Just remember that if you're in at least a marginal risk, you have the potential of seeing severe weather. We saw it on Saturday where we had the marginal and the slight risk here in Arkansas. We had tornado warning central here in Arkansas. Okay, so Tina has a county map that she could share. If you could do that, please let me know. Actually, not let me know. Excuse me. Please put this in the comments at this point. But yeah, have a plan ready to go. Stay safe, guys. That's the best thing we can tell you at this time here. Okay, so I know everybody's kind of worried about Thursday and stuff like that. We promise you guys we're going to be here. It's not a 100% guarantee that you will see severe weather. We just want everybody prepared for the potential to see severe weather as we get towards the day on Thursday. Okay, so severe weather, potentially significant. We're going to have to watch it. Right now, it's not hatched because there's a lot of uncertainty with guidance right now. As you saw, you go GFS and Euro, we're dealing with the entire state. You go with the NAM, is central and south Arkansas. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now here, but I think it's going to keep it enhanced. It's not going to go any higher until we get a better understanding of what we're dealing with as we get towards Thursday. But regardless if this goes moderate or not, have a plan ready to go. Stay safe. Tonight, what I would do, sit down with your family, say, hey, we got severe weather on Thursday. What is our plan? What do we do if there's a tornado warning? What do we do if there's a severe thunderstorm warning or stuff like that? Sit down with your family, go over the plans and stuff like that, okay? I know a lot of people kind of tuning in. Facebook kind of sends notification late. So how bad are we talking for Thursday? So Thursday right now, there's an enhanced risk, and I fully agree with the enhanced risk, but I do not think this will go moderate until we get a better understanding on this severe weather threat, because there's a lot of uncertainty right now with guidance. So right now the enhanced risk goes for the majority of the state at this point. Northwestern Arkansas, the reason why you guys are in a slight risk is because of the fact you may be dealing with this first thing Thursday morning. That's the only reason you're in a slight risk right now here. Otherwise, either be an enhanced risk for the entire state. Okay, but just kind of keep that in mind across the board. Stay calm. Keep your eyes and ears open. Calm minds always make smart decisions, guys. That's the best thing we can tell you at this point. Okay, so are they going to come in as a squall line, or is it going to form kind of discrete? So that's the number one thing that we're all wondering right now. Not only us here, but on the Storm Prediction Center as well. Is this going to be a squall line, or is it going to be a discrete mode where you have supercells all over the place? That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing at this point, is what's the storm mode. That's what's keeping you from a moderate risk. You know, that's what's keeping you from having those higher threats right now, because we don't know which is going to go. Is it going to be a squall line, or is it going to be a discrete mode at this point? Okay, so we will know next day or so, once we get a little bit more data in, we'll know what this mode is going to be. And once we get a good idea of what happens, I wouldn't be shocked if this went moderate, but I would say if it does go moderate, it would probably be in eastern Arkansas at this point. We'll have to wait and see. All right? It's a lot of things need to come together to get a moderate at this time here. And speaking of moderate, we're going to talk about that real quick while I have everybody here, because we go over these severe risks a lot. All right, but I'm going to talk to you guys about what do they mean, like what's the chart and stuff like that. Okay, so basically, whenever we talk about severe weather, you always hear the marginal risk or the slight risk or the enhanced risk, stuff like that. What do they mean? Okay, bear with me for just a bit. I'm gonna get this up on our side here. Okay, so this is what we mean. We'll go back over to this real quick. Okay, so this is what we mean about the categorical risk. Okay, so thunderstorm, general threat, not much going on. No severe thunderstorms expected. Okay, your marginal risk, you have the potential of seeing isolated severe thunderstorms. That means 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, hail up to 1 inch, and a low tornado risk. Majority of the time is a low tornado risk with the marginal risk. Okay, the slight risk, scattered severe thunderstorms possible. Okay, that is short-lived, not as widespread, but isolated intense storms can be possible. We've seen time and time again where the slight risk overperforms or it doesn't do anything at all. Okay, 1 or 2 tornadoes could get going, strong winds, isolated wind damage, hail up to 1 inch, isolated 2 inches in some places. Okay, so slight risk, as you can know, by not much going on. They can overperform or they can go under. Okay, the enhanced risk, which is much of the natural state at this point. All right, numerous severe thunderstorms will be possible. That means the potential of a few tornadoes. That means potential wind damage. Damaging hail could be up to 2 inches in diameter. Okay, that's where we are right now. We're at a level 3 at this point for Thursday. All right, to get a level 4, you need it to be a widespread event. You need widespread severe thunderstorms across the board. Okay, that means potential strong tornadoes. That means potential widespread wind damage. That means destructive hail as well. I would say if this goes moderate, it's got to be for wind damage. It's going to be strictly for wind damage, and that depends on if this is a squall line or supercells. If it's a mix to both, it's going to go moderate, and it's going to be probably a moderate-driven wind threat. Okay, so it's a wait and see at this point. Don't bank on it going moderate. Just know that even if you're in the slight risk area right now, you have the potential of seeing severe weather. Okay, and we've had a lot of people ask about the high risk. We haven't seen a high risk since last year. Okay, high risk are rare for a reason. Same wording with PDS. Those PDS and the high-risk wordings, they're rare for a reason. They're meant for extreme situations. That is, widespread severe thunderstorms are basically expected. Tornado outbreak or a big-time derecho coming in, which is a big squall line coming in that's producing 80 to 90 mile per hour winds. Okay, so I really hope this helps everybody and kind of understand where you are. Right now, northwestern Arkansas, you're in the level 2. Much of natural state, you're in the level 3 at this point in terms of the severe weather threat as we get towards Thursday here. Okay, so I think that is it, guys. Let me double check and make sure. Tina, we're gonna get. I'll get that shared as soon as this live stream is over. I think it has to go through like a approve on here or whatever. And also, people have been asking about the app. Right now, we're still kind of working out everything in terms of make sure things working good. The preliminary release time looks to be at the end of this month. That's the goal at this point. We're kind of looking at the end of the month for it to come out. We're kind of aiming for the tropical season at this time here. Because there's a lot of things that we still have to get together for the app here, and with us being super busy with the severe weather, it's kind of not helping at all. So we're aiming right around that end of the month time frame for the app potential. We'll let you guys know on the page once that's available. Okay, so I think that's it for everybody. I'm not seeing any more questions. Let me double check and make sure. I think that is it. Okay, all right. So thank you all so much for tuning in. As said before, we'll keep you guys updated. We will have your forecast tonight. Since we'll have a severe threat today, we'll have your forecast tonight to kind of talk about Thursday a little bit more. And we'll have more information on the page. We'll keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.